Hey there, Bracy here. So the family's back. Hold on, let me just make sure that this is recording. All right, it is recording. I didn't hear the thing because I forgot to turn on the volume. Anyway, it's not important. I should have put you through that. Separation anxiety, I understand. So yeah, the family is back. So I'm going to talk a little lower because they're all trying to nap, recovering from jet lag. And it's great to have them. I have to readjust because I've spent 2 months basically in solitude, and so now I've got to get back into the mindset of being a family man, being part of a cohesive unit, and helping everyone be happy and mitigate issues and yeah, no, it's just a different mode. It's not a bad thing. It's good to have some time to yourself, to reflect, to be able to catch up with where your own mind is at, your own body, where your spirit is, where your interests are going, where your curiosity is, and let those things naturally kind of come come out in a way that you can analyze them, but that analyzing can only take so long. And for me, 2 months is way too long. 1 month of self-reflection, good. 2 months, no, it's a sixth of a year. It's too much time. So anyway, now that they're back, trying to work on how am I going to plan for the things that we need to improve as a family, the things that we need to improve in our house to make it more of a home that we want to be in, how we're going to fit in the time to grow personally as a family and financially and professionally. Like, there's a lot to balance, and then all of that predicated on a world that we want to help make much better than the way we found it. And honestly, right now, looking at, like, as you might have seen in the last few videos, like looking at the state that the world is in, there's not been a single modern day culture that's been in control that has kind of followed that idea, where it's like leaving the world in a better place than it found it. We're easily in, as a whole, the world is in a much worse place because the situations that we're in are potentially catastrophic. It doesn't matter how good it was on an individual level. It's kind of like if you looked at it from the state of a human, a human who was dealing with like alcoholism, the states in which they're drunk may feel better in those small conditions, but the overall system of the body is breaking down. The overall system of that person in society is not clicking the way that it used to. It's become dependent on a certain circumstance and a certain condition, a certain input. And I think that's exactly what we're in. We're dealing globally, culturally, we're dealing with the dependence. I think we're dealing with the dependence on feeling good, enjoyment, dependence on people who are dependent on having power as opposed to sharing it. We're just dealing with different states of different dependence for different systems, different people, different cultures. So yeah, how do we balance that? I think start where you're at is a really good a good starting place. Yeah, starting where you're at is kind of the best starting place for solving any problem. You first need to assess the problem, which means that you need to assess yourself in relationship to that problem, and then you need to assess all the other concepts that are attached to the problem. Otherwise, you might not get ultimately you have to have a holistic understanding of the problem to be able to actually come up with a real solution for it. Because if you don't, then you could be missing a key element that is only going to further the issue. Even if you solve a symptom at that direct moment, and you feel really good about it, that the real problem is still festering underneath, and maybe it was obfuscated by your perception of the problem. Um, so, yeah, starting where you're at. That's all I got. Thanks for taking the time. Stay conscious.